watch me.
And welcome back to the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Cerrone. I'm your host, Sam Cerrone. All right, Dwight Howard. How much have we heard about him this past year or two, really? Again, he left LA. Well, he's a free agent. Not saying anything yet. He's a free agent. He has a couple options. He has LA to go back to, where they're going to give him a max deal. If they go, he'll be the franchise guy in a couple years. Okay. You're in a big market, sure. LA, love it. But he's looking, according to sources, he is looking for rings. And the way that he's going to get rings is to be surrounded by the best talent, and I do not think that LA has the best talent. Out of the three teams that look to be in the running for Dwight Howard, the Lakers are in third. And number 2 on my list, I think, is the Dallas Mavericks. Again, things that are going to be attractive to Dwight Howard. Again, no income tax. Sorry. It's a decent roster. But Dirk Nowitzki, he's up there in age. He's 35. Vince Carter, another big role player at 36. OJ Mayo's a good player, but not a great player. Darren Collison, good player, but not a great player. Chris Kaman, good player, but not a great player. It's a team. It's a team that can do well, that can do good things. I do not think, though. I think it's a better situation for Dwight Howard to be in Dallas than LA. Why? Because look at the talent around them. You have aging Steve Nash. That's a problem. You have Kobe Bryant coming off an ACL injury and coming into his 18th or 19th season. That's a problem. You have Paul Gasol, who takes away shots and an inside presence from you. That's a problem. Number 1 on my list of the teams that Dwight Howard can go to are the Houston Rockets. And no, I'm not just saying that because I'm a Rockets fan. No. If you look at the talent that they have, it's a good lineup. You have a good player in Jeremy Lin. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll turn out great. You have a good wing player in Chandler Parsons, 6'9". Again, can stretch the floor for you. You have other good players. Patrick Beverley, a revelation in the postseason. For those of you who watched some of the games against the Thunder in the first round, Omer Asik, we'll see what happens with him. I mean, he's the center right now, but he contributes a lot on the defensive end. And obviously, the one player that is a top 10 player and can carry the team when Dwight Howard doesn't have to is obviously James Harden. Again, James Harden, 23 years old, a good shooter, 6'5", good height. again, he's a top 10 player in the league right now. He's up. He's just starting to achieve superstardom in Houston. And it's pretty much the situation that he was in Orlando when they took them to the NBA Finals back in 2009 for Dwight Howard. You have a team of shooters. You have a team that can put the ball in the net, and when they shoot as much as when Houston shoots as much as they do, shoots as much as they do, there's a lot of rebounds. There's a lot of misses too. Who can get the ball? Dwight Howard. Who can score the ball? Dwight Howard. I'm just saying this is a roster that's built to win right now. That can win championships if they get a great piece like Dwight Howard. I think it's a good fit. I think it works. Whether or not Dwight Howard decides to go there, that's one thing. Sure. I mean, if he wants the money, yeah, go to LA. But if you want a team that wants to win championships, you go to Houston. The way that LA is trying to convince him to stay right now, wow, it's crazy. It's interesting to see how it's LA. It's the Lakers. You do not do this when it comes to free agents. You do not lure them by saying, or you do not beg them to stay. That is a sign of desperation almost for and I'm sure a lot of people share the same feeling. I don't get it. I mean, you are LA, you can attract whatever players you want. You have the history behind it. You have so much success. Again, wherever Dwight Howard goes, he's going to be scrutinized regardless. Why? Because he can't make up his mind. I mean, again, speculation is he'll probably be in Houston, but I'm not going to believe it until I see him sign the contract and dot his I and, cursive, whatever. Until I see that, it's up in the air. It really is, because Dwight Howard, again, cannot make up his mind. He wants to be the guy where he's loved, everyone likes him, he makes people happy. The thing you have to realize, Dwight, you cannot please everybody. You can't. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes you're going to have to hurt people. That's fine. Sometimes you're going to have to disappoint people. That's fine. It's going to be a harsh breakup with LA. But do not go with this back and forth process. I mean, if you go to a team that's not LA, this will be your third team in 3 years. And you have a potential to be a franchise player in one team for many years. You could attract other great free agents if you pick a place to stay. I'm just saying, going there, that is a great option. That is an absolutely great option in Houston. LA, again, there's so many questions. Again, considering, again, the players that I mentioned that are already up in age. D'Antoni's offense doesn't really suit a Dwight Howard. So I don't know. Can it work in LA? No, not with D'Antoni at the helm. No, absolutely not. They're gonna have to bring in another coach, but they're not gonna bring in another coach. The way things look right now, they've decided to keep D'Antoni, which means Howard is not coming back. He's not. So Houston, again, they look like they are in the driver's seat right now. They have a good roster. They have players that are capable of doing well. Francisco Garcia, again, a good shooter. Like I said, Jeremy Lin, great shooter. Chandler Parsons, great shooter. They will shoot the ball a lot. They shoot a lot of threes. So, again, Dwight Howard can be that guy that gets all the rebounds, gets all the points in the paint off rebounds. And this is a team, again, when you have a good player, when you have a player like James Harden that can carry a team and can make the free throws down the stretch, yeah, this is a team that can compete in the Western Conference. I mean, there's a lot of questions with the San Antonio Spurs. How will the Thunder bounce back from a disappointing postseason? I mean, granted, Westbrook was out, but still it was disappointing. Have they taken a step back? moving other teams again. The Clippers, I mean, that they're a good team as well, but a lot of questions rely on whether or not Doc Rivers can coach this team. So again, Houston has a championship roster. With Dwight Howard, they're a contender. Just saying. Again, this is like the Magic team back in 2009 that had a bunch of shooters on it, and Dwight Howard was the player. He was the guy. But he doesn't have to necessarily be the guy when it comes down the stretch. He doesn't have to make those 2 free throws down the stretch with under a minute left. That can be James Harden's role. Dwight Howard hasn't had a player like James Harden. In Orlando, what was his best player was what? Maybe Hedo Turkoglu at one point? Yeah, I don't think he can I don't know if he can sink those free throws late. I don't know if he has that gene. In LA, you had Kobe, but clearly there was a strained relationship with that, so I don't know if he wants to go back to that. He wants to be loved. And Houston, I'm sure they will do what Dwight Howard asks because he is the guy. So we'll see what happens with that. It should be a very interesting NBA free agency starting tomorrow, a couple hours away. So again, it should be fascinating to watch. So before I go, one final note. I don't know how many people watch the X Games. I've been watching them since, wow, I was young, since they first started coming out in the 90s. It's a fascinating series of sports to watch, series of events to watch. Bob Burnquist, I've known the guy, I've known of him for so long. I've known him, when it comes to the skateboarding world, he's up there with the Tony Hawk of the world. He's up there with popularity with Sheckler and all those guys. Again, Bob Burnquist now became the all-time leader in medals won at the X Games with a gold medal performance and the skateboard Big Air. Yeah, 36 years old and skateboarding. Bob Burnquist, I mean, he's been famous for the last decade. I mean, specifically back in 2001, I believe, scoring a 98 in the finals, in indoor skate. Oh my God, this guy's a legend, and it couldn't have happened to a better guy. He now has 25 X Games medals to pass BMX legend and current rallycross driver Dave Mira, also a legend. So, congratulations to Bob Burnquist. You know, great guy. He seems like a fun guy. That'd be a cool dude to hang out with if I were, you know. So yeah, that is the end of my show. Thank you all for listening. Next week, obviously, we'll have a lot of talk, I'm sure, on free agency. Baseball, again, there's a lot going on. A lot of questions with the Yankees. Is A-Rod going to play again? We'll find out. Also on the board, again, we'll look around. It looks like NFL, especially a lot of off-season, what will happen with that. So, again, we have a lot to talk about during the summer. This summer's not dead yet. Baseball's looking good. Again, everything in sports now in the summers is starting to heat up a little bit. So we'll see what happens next week. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, Spicy Sports Show with Sam Strone. You're listening on Spreaker Radio.